What's up, everybody? Keith Dykes here with W.K.D. Construction, and welcome to my channel. So on today's video, we're gonna get this foundation going. We've got to get the blocks laid and all of the slab prep done, which will be gravel fill. We got to rough in the plumbing, gravel fill, plastic, wire, all that good stuff, ready to pour some concrete. And then we will get the slab poured. And yep, we are almost ready to start framing on this thing, man. So if you're just now joining us here at the W.K.D. Construction channel, I'll put a link right up here or here. I don't know which side, but I'll put a link to the previous video, part 1 video, to the Melton Farm Project, where we are digging, laying out the house and digging the footers, getting them poured and getting up to this part 2. So here we go, let's get at it. All right, y'all, we're here out at the Melton Farm. We got the brick masons here, block masons, and they're getting ready to get set up. I was just gonna show you about how I pin my corners for the block layers in case I'm not here, that they know where to go. So we got the batter boards, which I got my strings, which is this is the outline of the foundation, but I will plumb down off of the string both ways, which this string, if it wasn't broke, this string runs this way, so it creates a corner, and then I'll plumb down off this wall, and then I'll come down and drill and put a nail right there, so the block layer knows this is where the corner of my foundation goes. Here's one as well. I just use a screw on this one. So right here is where the garage is going to tie into the house part, and I dropped the footing down 1 inch. That way the blocks on the garage will have a 1 inch drop. When you come out of the house, you'll drop into the garage 1 inch. That way water or whatever won't come into the house. And I'll do that on the back porches and the front porches as well. We're gonna have a sleeve here coming underneath the block for whatever, and then another sleeve right there as well for probably gonna put a drain into the garage floor. So I got a sleeve there so we can run my drain pipe out at a later date. Yes, sir, we got a foundation complete. Well, almost complete. I still like the front porch. We got the main body of the house and the garage. The blocks are laid. The feeling of fall is in the air. It's coming, man. It's 76 degrees today. Yesterday was 100. I mean, it was horrible yesterday, but definitely fall is in the air, so I'm loving that. But I'll give you a little peek what we got right here. So you can see my nail that I have in there. They broke the block just so it fit up in there tight, but this is what I was talking about, my rebar pins. They come up in the block, so when the slab gets poured, this is going to be the top of the slab, so the concrete will pour and lock onto this rebar, so everything will be bonded to the footing like a champ. They won't move anywhere, won't raise anywhere. So this is basically, you know, the house part. Get into the garage. I offsetted that wall 4 inches. That way this wall will be in line. You know, it won't be sticking out into the garage. Then I dropped it down 1 inch to keep that separation between the garage and the main part of the house. And these right here are slab supports. So when I get all my rock in here, we'll leave those exposed. The concrete will pour and set on top of that, and it will hold the slab. You know, it'll support the slab. We'll run some rebar through there. We're just about ready for the rough in plumbing, all the sewer pipe, drain pipe, water pipe. So that will be our next step, is coming in, roughing in the plumbing, and then we'll get a bunch of clean wash gravel. We'll backfill everything in the house part and the garage part as well. Gravel will go to here. This is 4 inches from here to here, so our concrete will come from here and set on top of this, and then gravel will then again go all the way across through there. And with 12 inches of gravel, I won't have any problem. I won't have to dig down into the dirt. With all my plumbing, I can run, I could come up here 45 up, run it out through there and stay above grade. I don't have to worry about digging in that hard ass clay. And then we'll just put some clean wash rock right on top of it, do some plastic and some rebar sheet, or not rebar sheet, sorry, wire sheets, and we'll get ready to pour. This is the back of the house, which we're gonna have a porch. It's gonna be 12 feet from here out, 12 feet, the length of the house, which is 52 feet. And then the front porch will be 6 feet, no, sorry, my bad, 8 feet. It will go out 8 feet by 52 feet all across the front. And I'll show you my generic blueprints, kind of what the changes Miss Susan had made. Originally it was going to be like just a smaller front porch, smaller back porch, and then once we got out here digging, she wanted to make it just a little bigger. So she wanted to be able to come out here, have a nice patio set on the back, and just enjoy it with her family. So that's why we're going to go 12 foot deep and 52 feet long. I'll get into a little bit more detail about this side right here, which this is the garage. This is going to be the entry into the garage. And like I said, if I went with the grade at the front over there, this thing would have been 4 feet out of the ground on this side, and then she would have had to build all of this up because it drops off really fast right here. So she would have had to done a ton of dirt work, a lot of gravel to build all of it up to be able to get into the garage. So I cut it down. It's a little cheaper on the front end if you go ahead and you can do the dirt work, cut it down, and make what you have work instead of bringing dirt in. You can take it out easier and then you can purchase, bring it in, then you have to pay to get it all packed in there and drivable. So that was my thinking on this piece, was to just dig that front side down, since it actually drops off pretty fast as well. Here's a better little view of the front. Of course, you can see it's about level right there, but right here it gets a little high. But as you can see, it drastically, I mean, it drops off pretty significantly really fast. So, and we're roughing in some plumbing. So I got my clean washed gravel, which is about a 5/8 inch P-rock. I like to use that because you don't have to pack it. Everything that you put in as fill, you don't have to pack it. It's so tight. It cuts out a less step. It's a little more money for the rock, but you don't have to spend all day packing lifts, you know, 6 inches or 8 inches at a time. You don't have to worry about all that. Clean wash gravel, and it's the way to go, man. Right here, we've got the pad mount. You can see it right there. We got the pad mount. They finally set that. I got the temporary set. So we have electricity. We can have temporary electricity for everything. And I had a little water. I had to use water. We don't have full-scale water yet. It's way down at the highway. So I was using that for my block layers, just to kind of temporary water up here. So I've been at the pool house. I've been working on some tile, and I've had Brent and Steve over here at this project putting in rough-in plumbing, as you can see. Look at that. That's a bucket for the telehandler, man. That is a must-have tool, man. I'm telling you. Because look, we got all that. This is 32 feet deep. Instead of having to build a ramp and get a skid steer or something in here to backfill all this, I can backfill it from way the hell out here. Scoop it up, extend on out, and dump. And then you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about getting a machine inside of that. Plus, being that's like a pea gravel, it wouldn't be very good to drive on anyway. A little layout of what we got going on. So right here is the laundry room. Over there, there will be a small bathroom, a second bathroom. Then the main trunk, the kitchen over there. And then this is all the master stuff. But we had a frog choker. Here come a heck of a rain, man. But we're gonna have a freestanding tub, of course, toilet that goes into a vent up the wall. And we got a shower, vent, and then a vanity right here. And then you can see all of our strings. We got all our strings laid out. These are cool. Mason's block, just a string line, put it on there. That way you know exactly where your wall is as you're plumbing. And then they ran these, I think they ran these as center lines. So. And if y'all been on new construction, it's muddy. It's always muddy, never's clean. So I had Steve take the forklift and put about, I don't know, 2 inches of rock in here because I knew it was gonna rain. So I had him put a little rock in there. That way, if it did rain, we can walk around in here and you're not freaking knocking 2 pounds, 5 pounds of mud off your shoes. So that makes a heck of a difference when you're in here trying to work, man. That just drives me up the wall, man. That's probably the worst thing I hate about a new construction is the damn mud. But what are you gonna do? That's just part of it. Now that all the rough-in plumbing is in, we'll do a water test, make sure everything is good. They got everything braced up really well. Make sure, you know, the pipe is nice and firm. That way when we start backfilling everything, you're not gonna have any pipe drop or any issues, you know, sagging or anything. So they did a really good job with that. Get all the rock in here. Like I said, we do not have to pack it. And then we will put plastic. We'll get like a 6 mil, probably be plastic, put it down, get some wire sheets, get everything tied together, run us some grade pins, and call the concrete guy. And we will be nearly ready to start framing this dude. And I'm excited. I know I'm sorry. I know Miss Susan's excited too. It's pretty cool. So and one thing I like to install in a garage, especially, I mean, where we're at, we do get snow, we do get ice, and of course rain a lot. So you pull into your garage and all that ice melt, water, and all that stuff runs off. We're gonna install a trench drain. 2 sections, probably, I think that's 8 feet long. We will install it probably long ways right there, or I don't know if we'll do two individual ones or if we'll just do one and then kind of pitch the concrete to it. But that way, once you pull in from a long winter's drive and all that ice melt, it's not going to pool up and you're not having to walk through water in the garage. So just another look. It's not that expensive either. I mean, you're probably $200, $250, probably something like that by the time you pipe it in and everything. It's not a big deal, not a big expense, but it's definitely a good expense. So think about that. Think about a drain in your concrete, a drain in the garage in your concrete slab. And another thing, Miss Susan wanted to add a storm room. So we're gonna add a storm room right here in the corner. I don't remember exactly the dimensions. I think it's 10 feet long, maybe 6 feet deep, something like that. We'll put a door on it. I will use ICF concrete forms, so insulated concrete forms. That's what the ICF is. We'll do a 6-inch wall, 6-inch pour. We'll get it all up, and then we'll form the lid, pour a solid concrete lid, put a nice big storm steel door on it, and she will have a place to get into if she's here at night and a storm comes up. So we do get those. We do get some tornadoes here in Tennessee. So, and a storm room is not that expensive. I mean, you can do a whole room if you want to sleep into it. I mean, that's gonna get a little costly, but if you're doing like that 10 by 6, it's not going to be a huge cost, and you might as well do it when you're building, you know, when you're in the process. We'll get the outline of the storm room where it needs to go. Pour once we get the rock in here, then we'll like dig out for a footing for that, stub up our rebar that comes up out of the slab, and we'll tie into the wall of the ICF wall. So that way it will be structurally bonded and tied to the garage concrete slab. And if y'all wondering about where the water lines are at, I'm not gonna sleeve anything because Miss Susan, she wants to upgrade, and we are going to foam insulation. We're gonna put foam insulation in the house. So that means the whole envelope, the walls, the roof decking, everything will be insulated. So the attic will be basically a conditioned space. So I won't have to worry about water lines freezing in the wintertime. So I will have to put a sleeve for that. That's my main water line. My main water line will come in and will come up into a wall in the slab. But other than that being sleeved, I will not have any water lines in the slab itself. The only thing will be in the slab will be this, the sewer pipe, the plumbing. And for me as the builder slash plumber, that's a huge positive for me, that I do not have to run water lines and sleeve everything, and I can worry about that once the time gets there. Since it's going to be foamed, I can run everything up overhead and put water where I need to be. All right, y'all, we are here at the Melton Farm Project, and we're doing a little backfill with the rock. So we had to get some more rock. And we got Steve, he's in the lift. Got the bucket on there, man. This thing makes it nice. I can just park right here. I don't have to get into the building itself. Just do a little shimmy shimmy cocoa puff. Once we get all the gravel in here, spread out nice and level, I will call Servall, which is a termite pest company out of Paris, Tennessee, and we will do a termite pre-treat. We'll spray all around the foundation, all inside of this rock, inside the garage, get everything pre-treated. Very low. Very low. A little high. So we're doing our last bit of fine tuning on the grading, which I got the laser and the stick, and then just kind of pinpoint about a 10 foot by 10 foot section, get it all raked up. And if we got an extra pile like right here, we'll just kind of pile it up and then we'll throw it out or put it where we need to. Right here we're going to have a center wall, so we kind of dug down like a little footing. That way the concrete's got a little more support right there. It will be a truss roof. The majority of it will be trusses, so it's basically going to be bearing on the outside wall, so that doesn't not really have to be done, but we're going to go ahead and do it. All the plumbing's in. This is electrical for the island right here. That way we can get electricity into the island for outlets. And then right here we dug out a slight footing for the storm room. That'll give us about an 8 to 10 inch thick footing right there around where the ICFs are going to set. And then a small trench drain. And we still got to get it plumbed in, but it'll go out through this sleeve. And then we'll just run it out and terminate it out into the yard. Servall termite out of Paris, Tennessee. We are doing a pre-treat. pre-treat all of our foundations for termites. So that's what this fella is here doing. He's termite pre-treating the entire footprint of what we have, make sure we get all the rock in there, and then he'll treat everything and be good to go. Termite pre-treat has been completed. We'll let that dry before we get back. I will come back in and we'll cut down. You can kind of see where I got a mark on the block. We'll cut that out with the big cutoff saw, and then we'll form, either maybe use 2x6 or something, and we will form up across. That way we can cut down the concrete. On my drains, like this is a bathtub, I'll go ahead and form this out, and then we'll pour concrete. And of course, you know, the floor will be there, but I'll have a void. That way later on I can go back in, I can tie my plumbing in a whole lot easier. And then once we get those hooked up, we can you know, see what we need. We can go ahead and fill that full. We can fill that full of back, you know, with concrete, so we don't get any wicking of moisture up in through the rocks right there. It's the same thing. This will be a shower, and that will be a freestanding tub. But this just makes accessing the plumbing 100 times easier. Everything really went well until yesterday afternoon. Oh my goodness, I've got a telehandler forklift right there. Of course, that's what we use to backfill. And we had about 90% of the rock in, and the damn hydraulic hoses that run inside the boom to tilt the bucket decided just to get all wound up and all up bird's nest up in the dang pulley up there. So hey, nothing that $1,000 won't fix. Son of a bitch. It's always something, always something. But hey, we're gonna get it, and we'll fix it. I got a buddy that does a lot of stuff for me. He's just an absolute stud when it comes to anything that you can do with your hands, welding, anything with machinery. He's just really good at all that stuff. So he's gonna hook me up, take it over to the shop, and fix this thing. But this is what we got in here. Of course, we've already taken the hydraulic hoses out, but this pulley right here, I guess, I don't know if I forgot to grease it over the time and it quit spinning and it got wound up, but man, it was horrible. It was absolute horrible. But anyway, got the parts ordered, and we'll get it fixed here in the next few days, hopefully, get it back on the road. Back here out at Miss Susan's place, the boys have been out here working the past few days and got all the plastic laid down. All of the wire sheets are laid down, tied together. So you can see just a 6mm plastic throughout. And last time we did have all of the Servall, the termite pre-treat. They came out and did that. So we let this set over the weekend, and then on Monday the boys started on the plastic. Like I said, got all the concrete wire. These are 5x10 wire sheets. I like to use the sheets better than the roll, because the roll is just a pain in the ass. The wire roll, you got to fool with it. It comes all, you know, in a roll, so you've got to unroll it and fool with it. So the wire sheets are my favorite. That's what I prefer to use. Here are my grade pins. We set those with the transit this morning, which is the height, of course, of the outside block. That way my concrete is basically flat, as good as we can get it. But I usually do these like on a 10-foot by 10-foot square. That way the concrete finishers come in, they can screed. Their screed's about 10 feet, 10 to 11 feet. So that helps them and keeps a little more truer floor. You kind of see it where the footing is that we dug down. Right here is the storm shelter footprint, which I'm going to use ICF concrete forms by Nudura. It's readily available to me in my area, and I've stubbed up the concrete in each spot where I think I'm gonna put the door right here. I did leave a kind of a little bigger open spot right here in case Miss Susan wants the door on this front side, but probably we'll put it on that side. But my rebar, like I said, is stubbed up, and the ICFs are hollow, and it will that will go up into the form itself. And then once we start stacking the forms, there's horizontal rebar and more vertical rebar, so it'll be a very stout wall. 6-inch thick is what we're going to use. I'm going to use a 6-inch Nudura ICF 4. And this right here is where the garage door will be. As you can see, we've got a form across the front. We took a saw, big cut-off saw, cut down 2.5 inches thick right here. This is just added on. That way, after they pour it, it sets a little while when they're getting ready to cut the door down. Because, like I said, I like to pitch the concrete a little bit. I don't like to inset it with a 1x and all that stuff. I just rather pitch it. And when we tie the mats together, we'll just take the wire, cut it off, loop it around each other. You can tie wire it if you want. We got the little tie wires right there, but it's no need. You can use the wire that's on the sheet. It locks it in. Yes, sir. Concrete day, Southern Concrete. Let's go check it out. Let's see what they got going on here. It's cold. It's cold outside this morning. So those circles right there, those circles are their pins. That's where they know the screed. So they're going to screed down the middle, screed that, then they'll hit this section, screed all that, and then hit that section, screed all that, make sure everything's flat. And then he's got the wire pulled up into the concrete as well, not just pouring right on top of it. He picks it up in the middle, that way it's in the middle of the concrete itself. They're getting it poured out, and I'll let them be. Got a dude over there, he's dual floating, finishing it out. Got another truck coming. This is going to be about a 42 to 44 yard pour. I think we're going to do 40 yards and a callback. So I'm going to leave, let them go, and come back, and we'll check it out this afternoon. And tomorrow they'll probably come back and cut some saw joints in it just to give it a little crack relief. Yes, sir. The concrete is poured. They did a bang up job too. Them turning around. Look at that shine on there, son. Shoot. Don't walk in there with flip flops and your feet wet, because you're gonna bust your ass. But everything's poured out, and they actually sawed it today. He's got a green cut saw, which means as soon as you pour it, it sets up enough to walk on it. You can cut it. So I had him cut one. I just wanted them to cut the end of that, and then we'll just separate these two. I didn't really want to get into cutting this way. As with the main house part, of course, all these will be covered up. We'll have some sort of flooring on top of it, but just went ahead and cut some control joints front to back. I really wasn't worried about side to side. Probably will start on the storm room really before we start framing. That way we can get all the ICFs in place, and then we'll have to pour the lid. That way we're not having to deal with pouring through the roof and all that. So we probably will go ahead and build the storm room. But you can see the 1 inch difference between the house and the garage. I was telling y'all about was going to cut down the garage door because I don't like to inset it 1x. They go ahead and cut it down. This is what I'm talking about when they cut it down. So you can definitely see this has pitch to it. I'm gonna have a 2x6 wall, so the door is gonna set approximately right here. So when the garage door comes down, water does not have a chance when it hits the door. It doesn't have a chance to sit here and build up and go into the garage. It's gonna hit here and roll out. Yes, sir, that's it. That's how you get a slab ready to pour, get it poured. But you know, we entailed all the gravel fill, all the plumbing, concrete wire, plastic, termite pre-treat. That's a very important step. And then pouring of the concrete. I didn't get as much of that video as I wanted to. I wish I could have got them sawing the expansion joints as well, but they're in and they were out. They got done and I just didn't get it. So, but there we have it. Once again, I am Keith Dykes. This is the Melton Farm Project. Thanks for watching. And yes, sir. Got it, coach.